Good morning, everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is Alpa Sharma, and this is our revision series of important editorials that appeared in the last 6 months. I hope I'm clearly visible and audible to everyone. Right, good morning, Asmita. Good morning, Achal, Arshia, Ragini. Can you guys hear and see me clearly? Hi, Gulshan. Hi, Hardik. Good morning, Satya, Harsh, Ahna, Shriya, everyone. Yes, ये revision series है. We're not going to solve editorials today. We're going to be revising the important editorials that appeared in the first 2 weeks of January. Of course, yes, Pragya. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Good to see you back. Where have you been? Good morning, everyone. Yes, clearly visible and audible. Okay, so hi everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. तो आज क्या करेंगे? आज हम रिवाइज करेंगे 1 Jan से 15 Jan के important events from the perspective of not GK but from the perspective of an article coming up in the examination in the form of reading comprehension. I have assimilated important articles during this period from the Hindu, Indian Express and the Guardian. And once we are done with the last 6 months revision, I'll be coming up with important articles from the Aeon towards the end. Okay, Satya. All right. So, hi Sonal. Good to see you. Okay. I hope they're done now, Pragya. Chaliye. So, start kare everyone. Ready? Start karte hai revision. Good morning, Shubhrajyoti. I am sure you're going to be sticking to us for long now. That usually happens with people who come to our channel. Yes, January 22. Ajit, yes, that's what we're going to be doing today. So start karte hain with the important events and then we'll move on to the important articles. So, you know, January first week se second week se Omicron cases started building up in our country, which peaked during the second half of January, February as well. So there were many articles coming up on Omicron that were telling us to be more careful, wearing masks and not be complacent and not travel a lot and take precautions and be vaccinated. And then इससे related vaccination के भी सारे articles important हो जाते हैं. इससे related कौन सा mask पहनना चाहिए, that article also becomes important. Those articles that talk about the surge in the cases. Why is there a surge? Is our country ready or not? Have we learned something from the second wave so that we are able to deal with the third wave? You remember all these articles? Yes? याद आ रहा है कुछ? Editorials कहाँ से पढ़ना है? अच्छा, okay. तो, अच्छा, oh, by the way, I made a mistake today. I was unable to share the PDF with my video team and they were unable to upload it in the description box. They'll do it immediately after the class ends, okay? I'll send it right away and the PDF will be uploaded. PDF में देख के आपको उसको search करना है Google पे, you'll find the articles. हाँ, mask भी important हो जाता है, of course, yes. So, Omicron एक सबसे important event हो गया था during the first 2 weeks of January. Then, crypto, immediately before the budget came out, crypto became suddenly important. Why did it become an important topic of discussion before the budget came out? Budget में तो you knew 30% flat, 40% tax लगाने का decision ले लिया था. But even before the budget came out, because वो February में आया था, even before the budget came out, why did cryptocurrency, crypto asset become an important topic? What do you think? Do you remember that? Pragya, I'll do that, but there's a lot of work that I'm doing. So maybe I've missed out on your message. PDF link, Anushka, I made a mistake. I forgot to share the PDF link with my video team. So they forgot to upload it as well. I'll do it after the class ends. Immediately after the class ends, the PDF will be uploaded. Okay, I'm sorry for that. I forgot doing that. Okay, so tell me, why did crypto asset become important? Why? Yes, नहीं, आरबीआई और क्रिप्टो बैन बिल तो बच्चे हमारे उसमें आया था, बजट के साथ आया था. हाँ, रूमर स्टार्ट हो गए थे. यस, ऑल्सो यस, चाइना का बैन आ गया था. एग्जैक्टली, टैक्सेशन आया था बजट के साथ. उसके पहले द मार्केट क्रैश्ड. एग्जैक्टली. ऑल्सो people started knowing about the risks associated with the crypto assets, and a lot of countries were worried about the legality. Yes, so some countries made it legal, some countries made it illegal, and that's why it started making a lot of news. And then of course budget में जो हमारा decision हुआ था उस वजह से crypto ban और important हो गया था. Yes Satyam, correct. Yes chorus. एग्जैक्टली, डिस्कशन स्टार्ट हो गया था कि इंडिया को इसको अक्नॉलेज करना चाहिए या नहीं करना चाहिए, ऑल ऑफ दैट. करेक्ट. सो दैट्स व्हाई द क्रिप्टो एसेट कॉन्ड्रम बिकेम इंपॉर्टेंट. द इंटायर डिस्कशन बिकेम इंपॉर्टेंट. देन vaccination for in the I think the first week around 3rd or 4th of January, 15 to 17-year-old people they started getting vaccinations. उससे पहले 18 plus सिर्फ permissible था. So एक नया ब्रैकेट आ गया था वैक्सीनेशन पे. इस पे बहुत सारे आर्टिकल आते दैट वी नीड टू वाइडन द गैप. इट्स अ गुड मूव, बट no, not widen the gap, we have to reduce the gap, sorry. So more and more kids need to be included. The age group should fall till 12 and even furthermore. So age group को आप कैसे increase करोगे? More people, how more people can be vaccinated? So क्या turnout था? Were people happy with it? क्या इसका क्या impact हो सकता है with reopening of schools? वो भी एक अच्छा इम्पैक्ट था. many articles appeared on that in all the newspapers. Yes Ashish, please do. I'll wait for that. Okay, मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग के साथ लिंक हो रहा था क्रिप्टो. yes, वो भी एक इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक हो गया था. So vaccinations were started for 15 to 17 and all the articles related to it's a good move, how more people need to be included here, what was the response of students, and how it's going to be safer for students to return to school after the vaccination has been increased to 15 to 17 years as well. Then came the Sudan crisis. याद है क्या हुआ था? ओमर अल बशीर, अब्दुल्ला हैमडॉक, याद है? याद है सब लोगों को? द सुडान क्राइसिस, इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस हो गया था, पॉलिटिकल क्राइसिस हो गया था, पीपल स्टार्टेड फाइटिंग. डू यू रिमेंबर दैट? कौन कौन किस किस से लड़ाई कर रहा था? किस टाइप की गवर्नेंस थी उस टाइम पे? टेल मी. यस, ब्लॉकचेन एज वेल. यस, ब्लॉकचेन, करेक्ट सत्यम. द मिलिट्री कू, यस, to overthrow the existing government. Yes, the military coup. So that had to, it was to overthrow the existing governance. What was the reason of the existing? If you, exactly, yes Pragya. So if you don't remember, it's a plain story. इसको story के form में आप पढ़ सकते हो. There are many articles on that. Yes. He resigned after anti-military protests. Yes, and democratic तो हुई नहीं थी श्वेता. No. Democratic बनानी थी, but तब तक democratic government नहीं थी. No, Navya, it's going to be live only on YouTube now. My Hindu classes will be live only on YouTube. So democratically elected government बनाने का idea था. It was not a democratically elected one. It was a mixture. And that's why the military coup overthrew the government. Okay, remember that. Okay, now before I proceed, I have roughly 92 people live and I have 34 Guru Dakshinas given. Can you please like the video? It takes up a lot of effort to make these revision classes. I keep saying that so that you don't forget कि मैम ये तो easy है, आप तो पढ़ाते रहते हो, आपको तो पता होंगे कौन से articles important. I have to open each day's newspaper from 3 sources. Don't forget that. Please like the session if you haven't done that yet. India-China border crisis. So, कौन से पार्ट पे हुआ था? मैकमैन लाइन पे हुआ था? कौन से पार्ट में ये क्राइसिस हुआ था? याद है आप लोगों को? Because अगर आप इंडिया और चाइना का बॉर्डर देखते हो, सो हमारा कंट्री का मैप कुछ ऐसा है। तो जैसे दिस इज द JNK पार्ट, और यहां से हमारा चाइना बॉर्डर स्टार्ट होता है और फिर ये नेपाल पार करके यहाँ नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न स्टेट्स में भी आता है। सो विच पार्ट हैड द क्राइसिस बिगिनिंग इन? It's still continuing. Yes, it's still continuing. थैंक यू सो मच एवरीवन जिसने लाइक कर दिया है। 5 बार तो लाइक हो ही नहीं सकता बच्चे, सत्यम क्या बात कर रहे हो यार, एक बार ही लाइक होता है। नो ज्योति, नो। द गालवान वैली, द मैकमैन लाइन, यस। इज इट द मैकमैन लाइन or the line of actual control? It's the LAC, it's not the McMahon line. It started here with the Galwan Ghati, the line of actual control. There were a few rifts that were seen in the McMahon line as well, but mostly the impact was at the Galwan Valley. It started with the LAC. So, India-China border crisis, I'm sure अभी तक जो चल रहा है आपको पता होगा इसका background क्या है. And then the highlight of January. So Djokovic had to go and play, but then he was denied a visa. He was denied entry into Australia for his French Open, for his Australian Open, because he was not vaccinated. The article started with, why was he denied a visa? He was stranded at the airport. Then the articles moved on to, is it a personal? Because अभी आपने देखा होगा हमारे कोर्ट ने रूल आउट किया है कि वैक्सीनेशन लगवाना है नहीं लगवाना, ये पर्सनल राइट है, आप फोर्स नहीं कर सकते किसी को वैक्सीनेशन लगवाने पे. So same opinion तब भी आया था that if it's can you enforce somebody to get vaccinated, and then why is it necessary for sports persons to be vaccinated for the safety of others as well? So multiple point of views came into the fore. I've got 2 articles today, one from the Hindu, one from the Indian Express. दोनों को पढ़ लेना, बिल्कुल important articles है ये and then इसके बाद वो articles important है जो हमने last class में discuss किया था, his victory despite all the chaos that happened. Yes, he refused to get vaccinated. So, yes, Samarth, yes. And Samarth, आपको पता है ये जो अरुणाचल के border की हम जब बात करते हैं, when we talk about the China's movement and infiltration, I'll tell you guys something very, very interesting. So I've stayed in Northeast for over 15 years and I've traveled extensively into all the northeastern states. And I'm not somebody जो जिसको नॉर्थ ईस्ट के बारे में नहीं पता है, because I'm born and brought up there, and I've extensively traveled into Arunachal as well. I'll tell you something very, very surprising. A lot of you might not know of the fact. So it comes from the ground reality. So आपको पता है तिब्बत को लेके क्या chaos रहा है चाइना के साथ में with the whole fight. And you know Dalai Lama is in India in exile because he's ran away from Tibet because there was a fear that he might be killed if he stayed in Tibet. Okay, so iske baad you know that Dalai Lama holds the most important position in Tibetan culture, and then he had declared an heir. I'm sure ye story sabko pata hogi that he had declared an heir, and he was a child, and the child is still kidnapped by the Chinese army. So the Chinese army still say that he's alive, he's doing really fine with his foster parents, and Tibet has been constantly fighting to get their heir, that the child is a grown-up one, but he was kidnapped tens of years, more than a decade back. So there's always a constant fight to get their own heir back to India. Yes? You have hijacked my session, Srimati ji. आगे की स्टोरी सुनो. I'm sure you've seen the pictures. क्या? You give me a second. Let me get back to the story. I'm sure you've seen Dalai Lama's pictures. Yes? But when you go to Arunachal and when you look at the pagodas who promote Tibetan culture, you'll find a different Dalai Lama's picture. Not the Dalai Lama who stays in our country, who is in exile. You'll find a different Dalai Lama's pictures. Who is the Dalai Lama? The one who is a self-proclaimed one by Chinese authority. So that's the reality. They try to, with the whole, and who do you think makes up these beautiful pagodas worth crores and crores? Chinese authority, Chinese money to promote. Shreya, the reason is implicit. I'll not say the reason. It's implicit. Why would Chinese do that? Why would Chinese do that? For obvious reasons. Why would they want to replace the existing Dalai Lama? For the obvious reasons. Why would they want to promote their own Dalai Lama? For obvious reasons. Okay? So, and I've seen those pictures. I've visited those pagodas. So that's coming from the ground reality. Story time ended. Let's look at the next list of words. So, ये सब important नहीं है. ये GK perspective से थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा important था. There were a couple of articles that came up on ISRO's new chairperson S. Somnath. Who did he replace? When did he replace? Where did he come from? What was he heading before heading ISRO? Multiple articles coming on that, and very, very hopeful articles about now ISRO is going to reach new heights. Those articles are important. So GK perspective से तो ये important है ही. It's also important from the perspective. Yes, Shubham. That's exactly Samarth. Correct. What are pagodas? Pagodas are places for worship for Tibetans. Okay. All right. For their glorification. Correct. Absolutely, Prachi. All right. Dhruv, can I deal with you by the end of the class? You'll have to stick with me. Otherwise, we're going to deviate from the topic. Okay, 10th chairman of ISRO. All right. So, let's start with the important articles that you have to read. If you're targeting CLAT 2023, the December CLAT, good news, a new batch has been launched. जल्दी से enroll कर लो. Look no further. जल्दी prepare start करोगे तो जल्दी से selection भी हो जाएगा. Vaccine, boosters, and some hard talk. What hard talk? Questions about is our strategy fine? Are we able to vaccinate an ample number of people? Are people ready to be vaccinated? Vaccines are related, COVID related, all the articles are important. Please read that in detail. Next article, the crypto asset conundrum. Okay, so I've discussed about what conundrum it was and why legalizing crypto asset is dangerous from the perspective of our country, and thus the ban followed. And thus the taxation followed. So this article will tell you every detail about what crypto asset conundrum is. This has all the details. So if you don't remember what the conundrum was and what crypto assets are, please read this article in detail. Okay. Yes, Pramod, it will be available. Yes. You can watch that later on. Ma'am, is there any boundary? Of course there is, Ashutosh. There is the McMahon line. Guys, just a minute, putting myself on mute. Yes. So there's the McMahon line. Of course, there's a boundary, there's a border. Okay. ठीक है, आगे चलते हैं. Next one. What is this? What is the job of this? Who established this? What is the INSACOG? Let me see if you remember. Yes, Belinda, correct. Why is this important? What is the purpose of this organization? Who established this organization? That's one of the tasks, Samarth, of INSACOG. One of the tasks. What is the core task? What is its core task? Do you remember this? Google start हो गया? मैं बताती हूँ. Basically, the study of virus, the study of COVID, and then genome sequencing. That's the purpose of this organization established by the health ministry of our government. Yes, exactly, Belinda. Correct. Okay, yes, the Ministry of Health and Welfare established it. Correct. Okay, so please read this article, its role through the pandemic, what are the challenges, very, very important, I think, from both GK and RC perspective. Next one, widening the safety net, increasing the number of people who get vaccinated, age group increase ho gaya tha, right? The 17 and then gradually it increased even more furthermore, but this article talks about the January perspective. So, more vaccination should be vaccinations, more variety. The Indian made vaccination should be launched in the market and more people should be aimed at being vaccinated. Next one, post the prohibition of dowry. It's a breath of fresh air. I discussed this article in my Hindu classes, if you remember. Yes, Pragya, please do. Okay, in the end. So, this article talks about dowry to prohibition hai hamare country mein, it's prohibited, right? It's illegal to take dowry or give dowry. Yet, indirectly, it's still alive in the form of gifts to the child. And indirectly, there's an expectation of gifts. You know, there's a common statement that we hear in our Indian households. शादी तो अच्छी करोगे ना, हमको कुछ नहीं चाहिए, हमको सिर्फ बेटी चाहिए. शादी तो अच्छी करोगे ना. I'm sure you must have heard of this, overheard of this, some adults talking or some other people discussing it. So that's how, not explicitly but implicitly, it still continues and it still is alive in our society. So, Aman, I have quite a few. Yeah, so gifts. Yeah, that's why it's still continuing. The expectation of gifts continue and parents give gifts to the child, the girl child who they yes, that's a red flag. Correct. Also an earning bahu. Also, देखो इसमें ना जो important perspective है वो ये है कि the parents who marry off their girl child, the daughter, they give gifts so that, and if the expectation in their head is that after I give so many gifts, my daughter will be kept nicely, my daughter will be treated nicely in the other household. That is what the association of continuation of the gift is. There's, even if there's no demand, there's a lot of gifting that happens from the side of the bride. Okay, चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. Let's see the next one. Very, very important. बहुत अच्छा article था ये. A breath of fresh air. Misinformation through a feminist lens. Misinformation कैसे? So, feminism is on a rise, है ना? And I'm sure most of you are feminists here in my class, be it a boy or a girl. Now, feminism, if you try to promote it on social media, what do you receive? You receive backlash. You, if try to take a vocal stand, there's a lot of hindrance in the process. And the hindrance comes from the society. So, being a feminist is not an easy task, usually on social media. This article tries to explain that. I think it's an important one. Yes, correct. So, if you're a feminist, it's not an easy task. You have to deal with a lot of backlash, a lot of hatred that comes across. And then there are people who stand, ठीक है तो equality चाहिए, तो why seats reserved for women in metros? तुमको equality चाहिए ना, तुम भी खड़े हो जाओ, हम भी खड़े रहेंगे. Why are seats reserved for women? And then you forget a lot of facts that women are on their periods, men aren't. So they possibly need to sit more than men do. And then with the society that we live in, they need to do more household chores than you men would. So equality is reserving seats for women in metros. Please don't fight with me on that. That is, don't it's actually a misinformation through a feminist lens. Very, very good article. Next article. Yes. So Ashutosh, that is an indirect dowry. That is, and that exactly, Ashutosh, what the article is talking about. That exactly what the article is talking about. That it is how an indirect form of dowry continues, and then comes the expectation of asking for gift indirectly. Next one. Exception and exemption. So Djokovic's exception and exemption from vaccination and how he was denied an entry into Australia. He was stranded at the airport. मैंने आपको इसका डिटेल बता दिया था, पढ़ लेना इसको डिटेल में. Yeah, the next one. The baton of forest restoration in the net zero race. देखो, intermittently after November, the net zero race became really, really important. Of course, because of the meet that happened at gas cloud. So, जो articles आ रहे हैं on no Rishabh, no it isn't. I don't think that is. Okay, so restoration of forest cover, achieving a target of net zero emission, which country achieves it first and the other, what's our framework, that's an important article. जितने भी article November के बाद publish हुए on net zero emission or the IPCC report, all of them are important. Read this one. Next one, the best masks to ward off Omicron. It's a super easy article. You just have to skim through it because it can come in the examination. The N95, if you wear it nicely and there are no passages for air, because Omicron actually was at its peak during this time, during January. It started getting on its peak. So which masks? It's a very long article. आपको सिर्फ skim करना है. This can be framed into a reading comprehension. That's why it's made a place here. So which mask to wear? N95, wear it nicely. That's enough for you. Following the trail of crumbs. What are crumbs? The cookies that a website saves. And how it is a threat to our privacy. You see the pictures of fruits popping up on my Indian Express page every day. I tried to buy them once a month back. I still get ads. And not only on my Indian Express page, it's everywhere. Yesterday, I opened up Nykaa for its annual sale. I clicked that a product. Now, I did not buy the product. And now the product's ads are full into my social media. Everywhere. Not Nykaa's ad, that product's ad. With their own page. Because the cookies are saved. Are you trying to violate my privacy by saving those crumbs? You are. Yes. So, exactly, it refers to cookies. Ma'am, the Hindu newspaper से कौन सी news पढ़े? I mean, what is important? Jyoti, every time I come live thrice a week, I tell you कौन सी news important होती है. आपको वो session देखना होता है, तब आपको पता लगता है कौन सी news important है. So, Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, मैं बताती हूँ आपको कौन सी news important है. Okay? Yeah. Now, आगे चलते हैं. Next one. The rise of collaboratives of social impact. You have to tell me what collaboratives can increase the social impact. The emphasis on inclusion, equity, justice, and formal collaborations. Formal collaborations with what? Is a mark in India's social sector. Who are we collaborating with? Who's going to tell me that? Let me see if you remember that. This is the third class, Abhinav. This is the third class of revision. It's the third class of revision. Now tell me, who are we going to collaborate with? Anyone? Yes, I'll do Ria. Yes. Organizations, authorities. Yes. Formal and informal sector. Yes. Correct. Collaborations with organizations, collaborations with NGOs, collaborations with people that will ensure there's a good impact on our social status, social sector. That's what the collaboration here is referring to. Exactly. Please read this article in detail. It's a good one, a very important one. The next one, flying cars and the future in cities. फ्लाइंग कार्स आ जानी चाहिए, बिल्कुल आनी चाहिए. उससे क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है? इज इट अ वायबल ऑप्शन? What can be the threat? What can be the benefit? The entire analysis is being done here. This came into the text and context. Text and context, when text and context was not a part of the printed edition. Read this article. Next one, COVID's own Groundhog Day. That is how it has changed our entire point of view. How COVID changed us as a person. How COVID changed us and our perspective about our existence, about time, about space, about our importance in the world. This article is from a philosophical perspective. Again, from the text and context. So, how COVID changed us. That article, important one. Next one. You must be wondering, Hindu से कितने articles हैं? हाँ, I'll tell you. अभी these are important. और फिर January end आया और election आए and 15 days full of useless articles. So the first half of January was important. The second half, no, it wasn't. Squaring up to India's education emergency. What was the education emergency? The emergency was that formal learning is lost. My daughter still struggles to socialize. She still gets anxious when there's a third person, a new person coming in. She used to be a completely social person. With the 2 years of education emergency that we faced, you and I and all of us, there's a lot of struggle there in the minds of people, in the gap of education that has occurred. The gap that possibly needs to be recovered ASAP. So, the gap in education, it's an emergency and we need to cover it up by reopening school ASAP. That's what the article talks about. No, Manisha, I have bought the Guardian and the Indian Express as well. Next article. Oh, the Hindu is done. We're done with the Hindu articles. Okay, now let's move on to the Indian Express articles. Lesser for Indian Express, very, very few from the Guardian. But before that, if you're targeting CLAT 2022, Batch 3 crash course has been launched. जल्दी से enroll कर लो, बहुत ही कम time है आपके पास. Yes, exactly. Ah, Arshia, that's sad. I actually hope it ends very, very soon. Here we go. Women's hockey. क्या हुआ था जनवरी में with women's hockey? Who will help me remind others? What happened with the women's hockey team in January? Did we win? Certainly, Belinda, it has become a nightmare. Did we win the women's hockey? What happened? This is the 30-day crash course. Pragya? Let me see who remembers what happened with the women's hockey team. We did not win. No, we didn't. We lost the bronze. But the kind of fight we gave to the opposite, Argentina, I think, if I'm not wrong. The kind of fight we gave was tough. And that is why it became an important article because, yes, Sakhi, because despite 2 years of lockdown and they not being able to prepare efficiently, they gave a tough fight, a very, very tough fight. We lost the bronze medal, yet we gave a tough fight. And that's what's appreciated. Women's hockey, कौन पूछता है? Nobody. मैम कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, आईपीसी, सीआरपीसी, आर्टिकल, सेक्शन पूरे पढ़ने हैं क्या? ज्योति, आई विश आई कुड टेल यू दैट बच्चे, बट आई विल बी द रॉन्ग पर्सन टू कमेंट ऑन दैट. I think Nivedita ma'am or Abhimanyu sir or Shurojit sir will be better people to answer that. So they won our hearts. Their efforts was worth praising. Bilkul, bilkul. Sports pe anything that's praiseworthy is very important. Please read this article. Next one, Road to Recovery. Now it's a new article where after the second wave ended, our country was in a bad state, referring to our GDP and our economic condition. So, our country did not, by January, we did not reach a pre-pandemic level of the GDP. Yet, we were very close to that. And then came Omicron. So, we were very close to recovering our GDP. We were on a track of recovery, our economic recovery, our GDP recovery. But so ये article कह रहा है, we are at a better position after the second wave has hit us. So this is our road to recovery. थोड़ा सा hiccup आया बीच में with the Omicron, but not a big one. And we are still on our road to recovery. और उसके बाद आया हमारा budget, which was, we were very hopeful about our budget कि बहुत सारी चीजें होंगी about GDP. Nothing important happened though. Reserving my comments on that. Read this article, everyone. Next article. Recognizing kids as individuals and not just students. Why is it important to recognize kids as individuals and not just students? Thinking of January in the perspective. Yes, Anushka, correct. Correct, Belinda. Yes, yes, Prathvi, correct. So, why do we need to treat kids as individuals and not just students? Why? From what perspective? The pandemic, yeah, the mental health, the burden of the pandemic on their heads with the schools closed for almost 2 years. Shreya, I would like to say a lot of things, possibly when we meet someday over a cup of tea or coffee or something else if you would like. So, recognizing kids as individuals and not students because they are getting back to school and they're struggling and their mental health is weak. That's why individuals and not only students. Students se wapas aa jayenge, padhai kar lenge. No. That's not how it happens. Then, Djokovic. Dono article pad lena please from the Hindu and Indian Express both. Because he was denied an entry and it was amidst Omicron spreading. This was a time when South Africa was suffering the most. So he not being vaccinated, of course, was an important topic to take up because South Africa suffered because they did not have ample of vaccinations. So he could be a mass spreader. That was a perspective that was discussed here. Indian Express wala bhi pad lena. Let's have a look at the next one. A partnership to carry into net zero future. Partnership with whom? Partnership with the private sector. Yes, coping with distress. Yes, deteriorating mental health. Falguni, I actually pity. When I look at my child, my heart aches. It changed her personality completely. She used to be a very, very extrovert girl. But now it's different. So, partnership with the private sector. Providing them subsidies, higher taxation if there's more than the expected emission. There's some partnership that's needed to make our development sustainable. Because lately हमने एक article discuss किया था. Do you remember that sustainable development is necessary? Because without development, our country will be nothing. And development usually comes with a lot of emission. So we have to make sure that our development is sustainable. So partnership and cooperation with the private sector is very, very necessary here. Next one. We cannot afford to neglect TB care. Last 2 years, pandemic se pehle TB was one thing that was almost wiped off from our country. And we were on a verge We had been fighting against TB for so long. You had seen Amitabh Bachchan's ads, right? Our government was putting in so much effort to control TB, and then bang, came in COVID. So our attention from TB moved away to COVID. But after the second wave ended, this article tells us that okay, TB cannot be neglected. We have been working so hard to remove TB. We can't be complacent about that. We need to ensure that TB also is given its due attention so that entire attention doesn't move to COVID. So TB Mukt Bharat important था, उस पे attention वापस आना जरूरी था. This article brought back our attention to TB. %70% of youth are struggling in their jobs because they lack practical knowledge because of online learning. I hope that doesn't happen with all of you, my children. I hope you get through the desired college. Yes, exactly, Samat, and we aren't far off. Yes. Okay. All right. Okay, the next one. How the past informs the present. Past, present, what is it? Currently, Indian society is divided into those who feel that insidious Western influence. ये article क्यों important हुआ? Politics की वजह से. Let's keep that aside. A lot of people in our country think that this Western influence is ruining our culture and we've become copycats. And can we have our own uniqueness intact? Let's, keeping aside politics, it's a beautiful piece of article. It doesn't talk about politics. It talks about we are unique and we don't have to be copycats. We can bring in something from the Western influence. We can learn how to be developed, how to be more inclusive from the Western culture, but we just don't have to be copycats. We can be proud of our own uniqueness. So past informs the present. बहुत अच्छा article. You'll love reading that. The perfect mom. Should there be one? No. There's no perfect. Rather, every mom is perfect or rather every mom is imperfect. I'm sure आपने बहुत सारे social media पे videos देखे होंगे about the Mother's Day coming up. Oh yes, it's on Sunday. And you know what? I became a mother on Mother's Day. On Sunday. My daughter turns 4 on Sunday. So, is there a perfect mom? Should there be a perfect mom? The expectation from a mom to be perfect in everything she does, I think it's unjust. Everything she does with all her intention. That's correct. Even if it is not correct, it's okay. We don't need a proper perfect mom's definition. So, read this article. बहुत अच्छा article है, मजा आएगा पढ़ के. Next one, the life and death of a 36-year-old gig worker. Now, why is this article important? Who are gig workers? Why did gig working became important during the pandemic? Do you know who are gig workers? Do you know who are gig workers, everyone? Yes? This article becomes important because of gig workers being into the news. Yeah, we copy their lifestyles. Who are gig workers? Who's going to tell me that? The freelancers, yes. छोटे-छोटे jobs करते हैं जो. Exactly. These are gig workers. With the pandemic coming in, gig workers increased. So, gig workers and their rights in our country. What rights do they hold in terms of employment, in terms of employee benefits? A lot of discussion happened about them. Do you remember an article appeared last year, 2021? Yeah, 21 if I'm not wrong, on gig economy. Yes, absolutely, Shafi. Yes, gig economy is related. Absolutely. Like delivery boys और उनके rights, उनकी benefits जो organization उनको देती है जो कि negligible है हमारी country में. And then the death of a 36-year-old gig worker tells a story of the pandemic. Yesterday, it rained in Bangalore for 4+ hours. A delivery boy, a Myntra delivery boy came to my doorstep drenched because he had to make a delivery. What can I do in that situation? What can an employer do in that situation? What can the gig worker do in that situation? That is being highlighted here in this article. Next one, the consolation of a word game. I had provided you with a Wordle article in the first revision class. This is the next one. I had taken up this article in detail. That Wordle, it needs to be free. And why are we stuck to Wordle? Why are people obsessed with it? Why is it a fad on the internet these days? Read every article on Wordle. I think I'm very hopeful about Wordle coming up in the examination. Yes, delivery partners. Exactly. Exactly, Ragini. That's a gig worker. Yes, Abhinav. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ragini. Okay, so Wordle पे जितने articles है ये बिल्कुल 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 पढ़ लेना इसको miss. I want you to make a star. Miss नहीं करना. Okay, I'll not tell you about this. I've already explained this twice. Important one. Next article. How India has approached customary international law. I'll tell you a brief about that. There are some customary international laws that are applicable to all the countries, of course, because of an international court of justice. But international laws, are they directly applicable to our country? No, they aren't. That these are applicable only and only on the discretion of the judges. So there have been some cases in the history where international laws have been directly implemented into our courts, and there have been some cases where the judges decide not to apply these international laws. So what has been the approach of our judges towards the customary international laws, unless and until it comes into the jurisdiction of the International Court of Justice. For example, the water bodies, shared water bodies. You remember the fishermen being caught? Where were they caught? The last news, Sri Lanka ki taraf, Italy ki taraf. Remember that? So ICJ came into the existence here and came into our rescue. But when you talk about our own land, our own country, and these international laws, are they being applicable here? It's actually on the discretion of the court. So some courts follow that, some judges follow that, some don't. It depends on the case. There are examples of cases in the entire article where these laws were applicable, some where it was not applicable. Bahut acha article. I took this article in detail. That's actually good, Pragya. Yeah. Okay. Sri Lanka, Italy, yes. Pakistan as well. Yes, Pakistan as well. Next one. Innovation and narrative. बच्चे ये article ना difficult है. And it's long. But I took this article in my tutorial classes, so I'll not explain this article again. If you want to understand this article, you can go back during, find the link when the article appeared, और उसके next day का मेरा Hindu analysis देख लेना. I discussed this article in detail. What is the meaning of narrative in education? What is the meaning of innovation? I'm sure you understand innovation in education. That's what we are doing, studying online. That's innovation in education. I've told you about our BYJU'S studios. That's innovation in education. Right? BYJU'S providing with the tab and recorded videos. That's innovation in education. What my children is narrative. I'll not explain that. That's for you to read. Read how these two words have become important from the perspective of education after the pandemic has hit us. Once we breached the international law when our SC sent back the Rohingyas. Yes, Anushka. वो भी discussed है इस article में. और ऐसे भी cases discussed है where we did not breach the international law, we applied them. जहाँ climate hamper हो रहा था. That's when we applied the international law as well. Next article. Women cadets benefit the army. Why is it important for having more women cadets? What is the impact of women cadets in the army? This article talks about that. So there's a lot of chauvinism according to the author in the Indian army, and you call it chivalry, but that's not chivalry, that's chauvinism, and that exists. And why is it important to allow women cadets to be a part of the army? Keeping aside the chivalry, disguised chivalry as chauvinism. थोड़ा सा biased article है, पढ़ लेना. Come to the Guardian, everyone. Guardian में देखते कौन सा article important है? Hindi word for innovation. Cannot think of one. Green planet. Guardian का favorite है saving our planet. Our planet needs to be green. It is necessary that our planet remains green. It's a very, very interesting article. Please don't leave these articles that appear on climate protection and net zero emission in the Guardian. Next article from the Guardian. The view on the next pandemic. Can we learn COVID's lessons? We've read a lot of articles on COVID from India's perspective, because they appear in the Hindu and Indian Express. Let's read an article from international perspective. Guardian has one. What can we learn from the pandemic? So, a breath of fresh air, read this one. And the last one from the Guardian's view on COVID and schools. We had articles on COVID and schools from India's perspective. Read one from the international perspective. Why crossing fingers is not enough to save children when they go back to schools. What is needed? What more is needed? Teachers, parents' help is needed. This article is an important one. That is all, everyone. Thank you so much for watching me live. I'm sharing today's Hindu Indian Express in the background and telling you what are the important articles you need to read today. And all those people who don't want to watch the roundup, you can Navachar. Oh Lord. Exactly, Divya. Correct. So I'm sharing, and those who don't want to watch the roundup, I'll be sharing the PDF in half an hour. You can download the PDF after the class ends. PDF class ke baad, after I end the class. Okay. Sharing today's Hindu and Indian Express in the background. Let's see what are the important articles that we need to read today. No article, bache, because I had a lot of articles to be discussed. That's why no article to be discussed today. PDF aaj ka aayega. It will be uploaded after I end the class. I'll have to send it to my video team and they'll upload it after I send it to them. So, Hindu in the background. Here it is. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Manisha. Thank you. No, I did not take that one. The night it was called off because my video team was not free. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone who's leaving. Please do comment under my video once you download the PDF. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share it. One thing I can proudly say is nobody revises important editorials anywhere throughout the country. I do it with you. Please do share the video with everyone who's preparing for CLAT. Please let everyone be benefited from it. ज्योति अभी मैंने अपलोड नहीं किया है पीडीएफ. ओके, वो लिंक से आप डाउनलोड कर लोगे. Nikita, I'll try. Kashish, the Indian Express or the Hindu, either of them. She's not here, Ragini. She's not here. Sorry, my children. No thanks. Here we go. This is good. This is good. Please read this, everyone. The next article. I love this article. Bilkul padna. I think I'm going to take it on Monday. Yeah, this is a good one. Skim. Next page. ये कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो रही है ना? ठीक है. नो मृत्युंजय बिल्कुल नहीं है, लेकिन खुद मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी. Mr. Simha, we've had the analysis of 2020-21 paper. We have these videos saved on our app. Please download the app. You'll find the videos there. All the sections have been analyzed in detail there. I personally have recorded videos for those. Okay. Here. Text and context. So, yes, read this article. And the accident, yeah. Severe turbulence, people were injured, severely injured. And this article is important, very important rather. Let's have a look at the Indian Express, the Aeon and the Guardian as well. Guardian में कुछ नहीं है, मैंने आज सुबह ही देखा Guardian. Let's make GST a good and simple tax scheme. India must seize the trade opportunity opening. Now this is very good. A passion and lonely poet. Scheme. Data on deaths use. Yes, read this. Elon Musk, not such a free speech absolutist. No. The challenge of the middle powers like India, France and Germany. No. North India's blistering summer is a warning. बिल्कुल पढ़ना बहुत important है. Obnoxious speech does not call for heavy hand of the law. Very good. Read this. This is what keeps educated women out of workforce. Yes. Read this. और fruits भी खरीद लो. Ice apple मुझे खरीदना ही पड़ेगा. Someday I'll have to buy this. Let's look at the Aeon. It's on Sunday, Gulshan. No, Arshia, I'll have to read that. Thank you, Astha. Acha, Ashish, what's your issue, beta? Please post it again. Everyone who has questions, please post your questions again. Yes, that is important. Ragini, that is. Oh, wow. Lovely. There's a reason why I don't miss out on any of the Aeon articles. I wonder how am I going to choose the important ones. This is so nice. I might take it on Monday. That's all, everyone. That's all for today. Okay. So, anyone, any questions? I'm here for 1 more minute to address your questions. That is all for the roundup, everyone. Ashish, see, I am actually not the correct person to address ADHD. I think you should see a professional to get it sorted. One thing I can tell you is that don't take a lot of pressure about your preparation. But you need to get it treated, and then there are methods to get it treated. Please see a professional. कुछ नहीं समझ आता मेरा पढ़ाना. हमारे राम बच्चे आए तो पहली बार सुना है मैंने ऐसा किसी से. कोई बात नहीं आता तो कोशिश करो समझने की. Thank you so much for the compliment. Bye everyone. मूवीज हो रही है, आप प्रेशर ले रहे हो सिर्फ. ओके. Thank you so much everyone. Have a very good day. God bless all of you. My English section is not as good as CR. What is the issue with me, ma'am? That is, you're better with logic than with language. That's the only issue. आपका लॉजिक बेटर है, आपका लैंग्वेज वीकर है. आपके लैंग्वेज को बेटर करने के लिए आपको सिर्फ और ज्यादा प्रैक्टिस की जरूरत है गुलशन. लैंग्वेज टेक्स टाइम. बच्चा एक दिन में लैंग्वेज नहीं सीखता है ना. थैंक यू जयप्रकाश. आप जैसे बच्चों की वजह से मैं ऐसे बच्चों के लिए केयर नहीं करती हूँ. Thank you. Thank you, Anushka. Have a very good day, everyone. God bless all of you.